bribed anybody at Coopers and Lybrand, did you?
No, sir.
You never asked anybody at Coopers and Lybrand to do a sham audit, did you?
No, sir.
You never asked anybody at Coopers and Lybrand to drop an audit test?
No, sir.
Did you ever ask Coopers and Lybrand to reduce the scope of their audit work?
We talked about fees and how to do the audit more efficiently, but I don't think we ever discussed dropping the scope or in that regards.
It has been suggested that Phar Mor put pressures on Coopers and Lybrand to hold down the costs of the audit. Did you put pressures on Coopers to do that?
No more than I would put pressure on any other vendor that I was doing business with to keep the cost down.
In other words, the normal give and take between the purchaser of services and the supplier of services?
I guess to use an example that you had yesterday, it'd be no different than me putting pressure on Bernie Marcus and Danny Shapiro to hold down those types of fees.
Coopers and Lybrand would not have continued working for Phar Mor if it believed that Phar Mor was perpetrating a fraud. You knew that, did you not?
Yes.
And you tried hard to show Coopers and Lybrand, in your capacity as Chief Financial Officer and Senior Vice President for Finance, that you were acting in good faith.
Yes, sir.
And you took pains to cultivate with the Coopers auditors a relationship of trust and confidence, did you not?
Yes, sir.
And later you brought Mr. Wally and even still later Mr. Charlestein on board to add depth to the Phar Mor accounting staff, did you not?
Yes, sir.
Among the things that you did in your efforts to appear open and honest and forthright with Greg Finnerty is you disclosed to him problems when they occurred. For example, you promptly disclosed to him the Tamco shortage situation, did you not?
Yes, sir.
Would it be fair to say, Mr. Finn, that throughout the years 1989, 1990, 1991, and 1992, that your relationship with Coopers was one of lies and deceit?
Yes, sir.
So it was your intention to deceive Coopers and Lybrand?
Yes, sir.
And it was your intention to deceive everyone else other than the people who were in on the knowledge of the bucket, isn't that true?
That's correct.
And to the world at large, you gave false financial information, is that right?
That's correct.
You lied to everyone, to sophisticated people, did you not?
Yes, sir.
You lied to the accountants?
Yes, sir.
You lied to the investors?
Yes, sir. They received false financial statements. Yes, sir.
You lied to the banks?
Through those financial statements. Yes, sir.
Eventually, you lied to Ernst & Young?
Yes, sir.
You lied to corporate partners?
By not disclosing the bucket. Yes, sir.
How do we know you're not lying in your testimony here today?
I was sworn to tell the truth. I'm telling the truth. Hopefully there are others who corroborate what I say. I can only tell you the truth today.
And did the people that you lied to believe you?
I'm sorry?
The people that you lied to, was it your understanding that they accepted your lies?
They went through with all the deals, yes, sir.
In fact, it was quite difficult, you so testified at Cleveland, to deceive Coopers and Lybrand. Do you recall that testimony?
It was difficult to deceive Coopers and Lybrand, yes, sir.
It took a lot of planning,
Yes, sir.
a lot of preparation.
Yes, sir.
It involved not just you, but a number of people on your staff.
That's correct.
Doing all this preparation.
And we're in a cover-up mode from Coopers and Lybrand. The more information that we can give them to get them comfortable without keeping them away from the books, the better off we are.
And you were in a cover-up mode for what reason?
Didn't want the subledger exposed.
And you would take whatever steps were necessary to see that that cover-up was accomplished, would you not?
Yes, sir.
And that was true of your staff? They were so instructed?
Yes, sir.
Would it be fair to say that what you and Jeff Wally and the others who participated in drawing up this plan had in mind was to anticipate wherever possible the kinds of questions or problems that might be raised by Coopers and Lybrand and try to have satisfactory answers for them?
Absolutely.
And I take it, Mr. Finn, that the ultimate objective here was to present the Coopers and Lybrand with a clean audit package so that they would be able to do an audit and give you a clean opinion.
Yeah, clean, and then using Jeff's word, tight audit package where they have enough information. Any questions that they would ask, we would have satisfactory answers for.
Would it be fair to say that you instructed your people to take whatever action they had to take to keep Coopers and Lybrand from discovering this fraud?
Yeah, I would say that that's a fair statement.
And was John Anderson one of the principal people involved in keeping the existence of this fraud from Coopers and Lybrand?
Yes, he was.
Did you delegate many of the details to John Anderson to carry out?
As far as what?
Well, as far as keeping the Coopers and Lybrand accountants from finding out about the fraud.
He was, I guess the term we use, he was on the firing line every day. And the auditors asked questions. It was his responsibility to respond to them.
And was it your understanding that they were to take whatever steps were necessary to keep any peculiar or unsupported journal entry from being discovered by Coopers and Lybrand?
I would say that that kind of went without saying. We were in a cover-up. We didn't want any sore thumbs sticking out there.
If they had asked for those, was the standard procedure that was in place to make sure on John Anderson's part that they wouldn't be shown anything that would raise questions?
This is a hypothetical.
Yes.
They were asking for something that would have exposed the subledger. We would have met and talked about it and done everything that we could to keep it from them.
Still, that keeping Coopers and Lybrand on as an auditor would make it less likely that the fraud would be discovered.
No, not really. And then no matter who the auditor was, would have had to have designed the system not to be caught. You know, no matter who was in there, be it Coopers and Lybrand or Arthur Anderson or Ernst & Young or Deloitte Touche, there was a concern that we would have been discovered during the audit.
That a lot in answer to Mr. Barnes' questions that if Coopers had done a certain thing, they would have either discovered the fraud or you would have had to change your approach. I don't want to go through all those areas again, but are you saying that you're sure you could have succeeded in changing your approach and keeping the information with them, or that you would have just tried to change your approach if you could have?
We weren't sure the first time we were doing it, so I would say wouldn't be sure if you brought in E&Y or Arthur Anderson and we'd do it all over again, whether or not they would find it. I couldn't tell you if someone used a different approach, whether or not they would have found the fraud.
It says in the fifth bullet, review of cycle inventories, gross profit percentages, and cost complements, analytical review, close paren. Did you understand what it was that Coopers was proposing to do by way of a step to address the risk referred to on the left-hand side?
Yes, I did, and I would have considered that a very important point because, as we discussed earlier, there were cycle inventories being taken, and the inventories were moved forward to audit date, and we Phar Mor used a cost complement to determine the cost, and so, yeah, clearly a significant part of the audit emphasis would have to be on reviewing those procedures.
And the approach that was listed there was, as far as you were concerned, a perfectly satisfactory approach, was it not?
Yes, sir.
Did you ever tell corporate partners that you were uncomfortable with Coopers and Lybrand?
No.
Did you ever tell corporate partners that you were uncomfortable with Coopers and Lybrand's audit work?
No.
Did you ever reach a conclusion in the course of the Phar Mor engagement that you were uncomfortable with Coopers and Lybrand's audit work?
No.
Did you ever say to yourself in the course of going through any of the Coopers and Lybrand audit papers that you reviewed or any of the notes from any members of your team, Coopers and Lybrand's audit is questionable?
No.
In the course of the Phar Mor engagement, did you ever form a conclusion that Coopers and Lybrand had failed to perform an audit in accordance with generally accepted auditing standards?
No.